everybody. Welcome back to another man's point of view with your host, Barry Young One. Thanks for the applause. Today's video is a reaction video on how the trans community is trying to manipulate the next generation and not being able to think for themselves. Why is this so important for someone else to accept you and you not accept you? That's what we're going to be talking about today on today's show. So we're going to dive right into the first video.
Why do you think Piers is so offensive?
Well, I think the way that Piers talks about trans people, and specifically non-binary people, is that you mock them, you make fun of them, you use them as entertainment, you use the lives of real people in this country, a vulnerable minority, as something to make fun of and get a reaction. And I don't think that's the quality journalism
When has
that you
he
do
done
elsewhere.
that?
Well, when you claim that you're a two-spirit penguin.
Yeah, you know why I did that?
Go on.
Because you and I had this debate about the 100 genders.
Yeah.
I made the point, if literally you can now identify in 100 different ways your gender, including two-spirit person and all this other stuff, then I am entitled to identify as a two-spirit penguin. In other words, there are no limits. And what's interesting is, you want me to respect all those 100 genders, however ludicrous some of them are, but you have zero respect for my right to identify myself in any way I see fit. So in other words, it's one rule for you. You say everyone's entitled to say they can be whatever they want. But the moment I decide that I want to be a two-spirit penguin, you go absolutely nuts and want to control how I self-identify.
That's not how it works.
The point I'm making. That is not transphobic.
Okay,
that is exposing a flaw in your position.
It isn't, because being a penguin isn't a gender. That's not on the gender spectrum.
No, but
it doesn't matter
can't you see how he's taking it to the
because
absurd degree?
It doesn't matter how many times you pretend to be Pingu Morgan. That's still not a gender that people can identify with. But what we know is that there will be people watching this program this morning who might be vulnerable, who might be unsure, that are trans, that are non-binary, and it can do real damage. When I was growing up, I watched GMTV religiously, and I was gay and unsure about my sexuality. And I fear that if that had been mocked constantly on breakfast telly,
there are
would have damaged.
Okay, but on that point, there are a few people who have been louder and prouder
what he
about
feels
promoting gay rights on
the agenda they're pushing,
and I have relentlessly on this program. See, zero credit for people like you, right?
I mean, I don't think not hating gay
secondly,
people is a great achievement.
Nobody has been louder and prouder in promoting trans rights. Right, and India will confirm that because she's seen it and she's responded to it and come on and debated it with me. So when you call me racist, homophobic, sexist, no, but I've seen all the stuff on Twitter in the last 2 days, right? Just debate about it. Apparently I'm racist, I'm transphobic, I'm bigoted, I'm homophobic. It's all baloney. It's actually baloney.
Why?
What I think should be happening is this whole gender debate, to me, has got completely out of control. And the reason I feel so incensed, I'll come to India in a moment, the reason I feel incensed about this 100 gender thing, imagine being India Willoughby, who's gone through transition, which is an extraordinarily difficult, emotional, psychological and physical process, lasting a long period of time. And then when you finally get to
what gets me is like, look at this young little innocent life right here. So you telling me you have a right to teach him what I can't teach him? So what you say is more important than what I say. And that's what you want me to believe. So he can grow up thinking whatever about life when life is not just whatever. Existence. And he can't even figure it out for himself. But you can figure it out for him. And I can't. It's got me in the sweaty uproar. Oh my God, these people are driving me bonkers. Nobody's saying you can't be who you are. Why are you pushing the agenda on our children that they have to be this? What if they don't want to be? They don't even, a child don't even know who they want to be until they freaking reach past puberty, past teenage years. Honestly. So you saying the child know what they want to be in elementary school, junior high? No, we really don't. No, the fuck we don't know what the hell we want to do. We're not even thinking about that. We're thinking about playing and hanging out with friends and being able to spend the night at certain friends' houses. That's what we're thinking about as a little kid. We're not thinking about, oh man, I think I'm interested in this. No, they're not. It's impossible. You can have an idea of what you want to do or who you are inside. You could have an idea, but like, man, wow, I find myself more drawn to this. But with you pushing that idea, don't give a child no option, no rights. Let's get back into this damn video.
You're a woman, right? Having wanted to be that your whole life, then you get told, actually, it's meaningless because there are now 100 ways to identify gender.
Well, let's hear from India.
Yeah, I think Piers is a beacon of light, and most trans people, I'm actually going to use the word transitioners here, because transgender now has become something completely different. Transgender now is about floating about in the middle, no commitment, you pick and choose who you want to be. And with the...
But that's what it's, as soon as the LGBT community let them in the door, that's what their whole agenda was. Now, men feel they have the right to have sex with babies? Are you fucking kidding me, man? What the fuck are we going to, man? When is it gonna end? When is it gonna stop?
Disrespect. I don't need any gay people coming in to represent me because I'm trans. It's not the same as being gay. And if you're saying that, you know, this is making a mockery of gender, well, what's your views on drag? I find drag far more offensive than anything that Piers says.
Drag
is
gender.
gay. No, but drag is gay men dressing up as women in a flamboyant way, exaggerated mannerisms.
Drag is a beautiful
gender.
art.
No, it's not a beautiful
India,
art
do you not accept?
whatsoever.
It is. That's a ridiculous comment. Do you not accept, though, that you identify as you're a trans woman?
No, I no longer. Do you know what?
woman?
I no longer identify as trans because it's become so embarrassing because of people like you and what you champion.
Oh, India.
I'm ashamed of it.
You
It's
must accept.
awful.
There are bigoted people in this country.
I don't accept there are 100
There are
genders.
bigoted people in this
Absolutely
country
not.
who don't recognise your identity. Why is it okay when you recognise that that is unacceptable and bigoted for you to turn to non-binary people and say you don't recognise their identity? Isn't that a race to the bottom?
Listen, how can non-binary be
is a
transgender?
big
What
joke.
exactly are you
Well, it's under the
transitioning?
umbrella
You don't even
term.
believe in gender. So how can you
I
be
do.
transgender? It's made a mockery of the
I
whole...
totally agree.
The whole
Oh,
I
thing.
totally agree.
You don't
And by
need
the
to
way,
be a gender
I've
expert.
heard
You
from
just
lots
need
of
to
How
be
can you not
I've heard
believe in
lots of
gender?
people, you're
How
not
would you be
compatible.
on this planet then
Listen,
without
I-
gender?
no,
It's this hard line. They are so
I've rarely
intolerant.
been subjected to more foul abuse on social media than I have in the last few days since this campaign started against me. There is an aspect of, I'm
Piers
afraid,
Morgan,
your
I need to,
lobby
save
group,
him.
for want of a better, the gender lobby group, which is highly abusive. It wants everybody that they don't agree with to be fired, cancelled,
So now he
destroyed,
gotta agree
and
with
everything
the
else.
fuck
And
what you
I
say?
say, what is wrong with
That's
debate?
bullshit.
You and I came on and we debated it on here, right?
thought this
I
was,
actually learned a bit from you. And perhaps you learned a bit from me, and maybe you didn't. But your response to a
Freedom of
good-natured
speech.
debate on that, can I come back on and demand I
What
get
about our
fired?
First Amendment
because
rights?
you only want people sitting here that you agree with.
all
and I
that-
say
all
that
that's abolished.
most people, and I say this with respect to you, most people think the concept of 100 genders is utter nonsense. And if it takes me to say on television, get away from this ridiculous control freakery stuff that no one's allowed to challenge it. If it's to me that says
No one's
I'm
allowed to
gonna
challenge
say it, and you're not going to stop me, and you're not going to get me fired.
And
You're
what
not.
exactly is your expertise on gender? Have you got any gender
He
issues?
said, you're not
I'm
gonna
a
get me fired,
cisgendered
and they
male,
did.
and I feel
So you're-
happy to be
you're-
comfortable in that.
You're
Benjamin, you'll
basically...
have to explain
you're
what cisgender is,
Cisgendered
because
means
it's
I was
got
born
some really
as
horrible
a man, and
language.
I was born as a man,
Their
and I
First
identify.
Amendment
You're a man.
rights.
You're a man.
But the
Just a
truth is,
man, you don't need this.
Piers,
You don't
when you
need
think
this.
you're under attack, imagine being someone who has been criticised by their friends, by their family, by
black
their
community
school,
been under
by
attack
parts
for
of the media, from the day
500
they
years.
were
know what,
I
I
don't
was
see no
not
rights
sure.
changed for us. Like Asians, like you guys, I don't see the rights changing for us like that fast. I don't see this shit. So how are we to relate to you? Oh, you guys should understand. How should we understand? Explain that.
Nonsense.
It's confusing people.
It's confusing everybody. You've got
Explain
kids
it.
watching
It's
the program
confusing
now.
the whole
Hearing you say there are
planet.
100 ways to identify your gender, not male and female. There are 100 ways to. You could be a
There are 100 ways
two-spirit
to be
person.
compassionate. And do you know what?
It's not compassionate.
Do you know what
It's
would
utterly confusing.
Do you know what would be
and it's
better?
dangerous.
Do you know what would be better than you being fired? I'm not intensely keen on this cancelled culture. What would be
You
better?
signed the petition to be fired.
I did, because you don't seem to want to learn. But what would be better
No,
is
no,
if
no,
you
learn.
wanted
To
to
learn.
learn. What would be better?
So I don't follow what you believe.
Think how you think is
I
what
don't
you
think
need.
like you,
wanna
then
fire
I get
me because
fired.
want me to
You
think
signed a
how
petition
you
for me to
think.
get fired because I don't think like
Liberals
you.
today is they've become so
What is that?
illiberal.
That's
They're interested in
manipulation.
making other people agree with them and think like them. And if they don't, they no platform them, they ban them, they cancel them, they sign petitions to get people fired, and it is utter nonsense.
Do you ever think you go too far?
Exactly.
Do you ever regret some of the
Yeah,
comments?
sometimes, yeah.
So you must
Why should he
recognise
regret how he feels?
Not on gender. The
So
reason
I gotta
think
feel
it's
how
two-spirit
you
angry
feel
is actually not
in order for you to feel
mockery
accepted.
of
Why don't you just
people
accept
with
yourself
transition. I completely
and stop
support all
trying
trans people
to make
transition.
everybody
I
else
don't
accept
support
you?
this 100
See, that's
gender
where
nonsense,
that's where it
because I
falls.
think it trivializes
That's
and
where the
demeans
lines get
and makes
tricky.
a
Like,
mockery
you
of
don't
what
even
people
accept
like to do.
And
yourself.
most people who have transitioned
But I don't
are
accept you,
Right,
so
so
now
this
I'm
doesn't
transphobic.
sink through.
I'm not
It doesn't
transphobic,
sink
and I
through.
resent you using
If
that
that's how
phrase.
you feel,
I'm
you
somebody
are.
who's
That's what
challenging
you
this
are.
ridiculous notion that there
I don't
are
have to
100
agree
genders.
with you.
That is dangerous and
Benjamin, can
delusional.
I just, I
Yeah.
think the 100 gender thing has
That's
thrown
what the world.
everybody.
This was everything gonna fall into.
Introducing the first ever
Some people, I totally understand and sympathise with people who have an issue with gender stereotyping. But 100 ways to define
But what
yourself?
this is an umbrella term of non-binary people who don't consider themselves male or female, and these
Okay.
are the terms we have for them to identify.
Okay, but
You
100.
don't have to identify.
Well, I mean, those
how are you not?
terms that people have
When you're
accepted.
born,
know.
they say, "Hey, you have a
Well,
girl,
we're not
you
going
have
to
a
go into that, because
boy."
you don't need to be a world gender
So you
expert.
can't
You
just
need to
say
be passionate.
what you're
No,
not.
And the,
You can't make up these terms on your own.
Mine are two different things.
Yeah.
I've seen the compassion shown to me in the last week. It's zero. It's
Yeah.
just abuse.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
And what you
zero
actually
with him.
want- You want people.
I gotta
to
agree
identify
with what you're
anything they
saying,
want.
or
Right
fuck
to the point
you.
that Someone like me goes, okay. In that case, I want to be a two-spirit penguin. Then you go nuts.
because that's not a gender.
Right,
and that's
I've
not
decided
difficult.
it is. and I
Why
want
is it
to
not?
know.
Why?
I respect
Why is
the
it
fact
not?
that I'm allowed to be that.
Why is it
Because
not?
you want everyone to be whatever they want to be.
And you call people like me snowflakes and say that we're weak-willed. There's nothing harder than having the guts to be yourself. We
What
might
are you
be-
talking about?
Nobody's
Be
saying no,
yourself.
not be
You're
yourself.
not
What you should
trans.
be.
You're not
What you
transgender.
trying to do.
I'm here.
We're all ourselves
Listen,
and
You have a real
Do you get upset about the
transgender
inside of
person
a
here
sausage roll?
I'm
telling
saying,
you
I was about to
that
say,
his is
I can
right
get
and
enraged.
that my life is more miserable because of what you're saying.
And
I'm
Benjamin,
actually
here's the
a
point.
trans person.
I can get enraged about all sorts of things. I wake up in the morning simmering, right? I read about vegan sausage rolls. I want to go nuts. I read
Piers
about
will have an argument at an
cricket
empty
balls
room,
about being made of
remember.
vegan
Passion.
shit, right?
believe that.
And so on. However, what I don't do is I don't tell people that don't agree with me, you have to be fired or cancelled or deplatformed. I debate with them. I don't like a lot of stuff, but I'm happy to have a debate. When you and I debate
how do you
100
think-
genders,
yeah.
I went away and thought, interesting debate. Now you're here to debate me getting
Shut up,
fired
weirdo.
because you don't
Looking
like
like,
the fact I
what's
don't
that
agree with
dude?
you.
Oh,
But
what's
you're
that
not
dude?
Okay,
Movie?
to damage people.
That's
you're
what it looked like
damaging
with the
people.
glasses.
You're damaging. I'm telling you, you have
Damaging.
damaged.
Huh?
Your
Johnny
ideology has
Huh?
actually
Johnny Depp
damaged
and
my
Charlie and
career.
Chuck
No, what's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
magical
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that
The
dude
whole
was a
thing
wizard. He was a
into
little boy.
a
He was a
joke. I
wizard.
lost work because of what
Harry
it's
Potter?
become.
Harry
People
Potter.
want to
That's who this
involve
clown looked like.
transgender
Fucking
people
Harry
because
Potter.
it's all argumentative.
You're not
You're
accepting
not
it, are you?
listening.
You don't want to hear
Listening.
it.
Well, I
This
don't
is
accept
real
Harry
life.
Potter with an
that
attitude.
that you give in to people who have bigoted views.
No,
Bigoted.
No.
It's
What
a
is bigoted?
joke.
Man, shut the fuck up, man. Y'all trying to compare everything, put everything in the same box. when
Everyone who
it's-
thinks that
You
100
can't-
genders
Yeah.
is nonsense is bigoted.
Well, the problem is,
Is that your position?
I think a great many of them have broader bigotries which lead to that position.
If you think that
Why
it
are you
belongs-
so offended or stressed out by people that you
Mate,
may
you're
well
the
never
one-
know?
Because you're trying to get, what you mean stressed out? You're trying to get him fired because of his views on your punk ass Harry Potter. And then you're saying, why is he so stressed out? Why are you trying to get him
I
canceled?
don't talk like
Because
that.
of how he feels.
I do.
But you want me to feel like you, and then you're supposed to still stay alive? How?
What about the offense?
You're supposed to still be relevant? How?
The offense you caused to
It's not offensive to say people can live and be the people that they were born to
Y'all
be.
motherfuckers
And
are
when you mock
hypocrites.
people
Shut the
like
fuck
Sam
up.
Smith, that causes
Shut
damage
that
to
shit
non-binary
the fuck
people
up.
that
No,
are
Hypocrites.
what I said about Sam Smith. 2 years ago, he comes out as a gay man.
There,
we
yeah.
all cover that, right? It's a big moment. He talks about it. We all cover it. And within 2 years, he's abandoned that position and now says now he's not sure if he's male or female, right? So he's a singer. He's won Best Male category awards for many years, right? What is he now going to enter? We now hear the British. Wait a minute. We now hear the Brit Awards has to go awards neutral, almost
Crazy.
certainly as a result of Sam Smith. So because of one guy who now says, I can't decide if I'm male or female, we no longer have best male or female categories. You know who will suffer in that? Women. Women will suffer. They will win less awards. So actually, these are interesting issues. And I should be able to challenge you and to debate it. Women's sport is a massive issue.
What about my identity? It took me half a lifetime to become who I am today. I don't want to live in a neutral world with the greatest respect.
You can be yourself.
Well, I do, because you're going
this guy.
Okay.
What is it?
Everything's becoming gender
Do you
neutral.
Harry
agree, for
Potter straight?
example, that there is a serious issue?
Harry Potter not straight.
Transgender being
he said he was
informed
gay in
to
the beginning.
male bodies
Cisgender
who
means you
transition
identify
to
with the gender you're giving
taking
at
part
birth.
in female sport and breaking
The gender
all
you're
records
given at
and
birth. Wow,
basically
that's just something that don't
making
make no
women
goddamn sense.
born to women.
Motherfucker, you got a vagina, you got a penis.
They can't compete.
You a fucking boy or a girl, am I
Women
right?
are women.
Oh, they're not.
The gender you're given at birth, motherfucker, you weren't born with like
You have no problem.
0, and then they had to create it.
5-inch, right,
This
person
is-
born
this
to
is the
male
same.
body.
People look at you
sprinter,
ignorant,
as is
motherfucker.
happening in
Yeah,
America
let me
right
be
now,
ignorant.
Connecticut,
You
the
motherfuckers
women's
sound
records
crazy.
have been annihilated
If I'm
by two
ignorant,
very
you're
tall, very
delusional.
strong people who
You
transition
feel me?
from male to female
If I'm
in their
ignorant,
teens.
you're
Now
delusional.
breaking all female.
I won't play into the demonisation of trans people. Do you
Is it
one thing
trans
I
people
accept-
to hang on?
That's gonna knock down, make it meaningless for everybody that fought for their rights to be who they are. And now y'all come in the fucking gate now. Hey, now we're nobody. Hey, G.I. Joe, now y'all G.I. Joes and G.I.
Punish the war zone.
Okay.
What about sport?
Now you non-binary. What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, it depends on the different sports.
Okay.
I
Female
hardly
sports
think a
people.
transborn golfer is going to
Also,
struggle.
now the sports. We don't even want to
Okay,
go
we
to
feel like, I
sports.
feel like we've
Men
now
should
gone
be
into a
in
different
women's sports.
area of
Women
the
should be in men's sports. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Now, after that last video, we're gonna react to the last and final video. Oh man, I'm sorry for my reactions, but I just don't understand how you can be biased. How you can't understand to how somebody don't understand. How they're supposed to just completely understand. A baby don't understand trigonometry straight out of the womb, do we? You gotta explain it to them. So that's what you gotta explain when it comes to the diversity in each other. You just can't expect me to understand what you're going through. You just can't expect that. I can't expect you to understand what I'm going through. We have to explain it to each other so we get an understanding. But further ado, let's get into the next video.
Something that kind of infuses itself into virtually all aspects of social life.
Let's talk about that then. I guess we should start with, we've got gender and sex, right? What's the difference between the two? Is there a difference?
I saw that in your questions and I thought, my goodness, this is what we spend an entire semester kind of thinking through. But what we tend to think about in the social sciences today is that sex refers to a set of biological characteristics and gender is a social construct or category. What I think is often misleading about that characterization is allowed to be sort of messy and complicated. But in that framing, when you split them up into these wholly discrete constructs, studies scholars, and really more specifically people who study gender and sex, we're not talking about sexuality right now. In the kind of academic universe that I travel in is that we see how deeply gendered ideas, cultural ideas about masculinity and femininity, maleness and femaleness, both in humans and in lots of other animals.
Spit on this lip. Oh my goodness, that was gross.
So are gender and sex two different things? Or
Well, I think that they both are and they aren't. I'm comfortable saying that gender and sex are two different constructs, but they're deeply intertwined with each other.
we're talking about gender and sex, and there's a lot of controversies there. If we're talking about a trans woman has all of the male physical characteristics, so would that not be a male then? Couldn't we plainly say this person is a male?
Well, I guess it's like, why are you asking the question? I think I want to
Why are you asking
understand
that
sort of
question?
why that's so important.
Because you're trying to
So someone-
identify as something else.
Sort of understand. Yeah,
And you're completely not someone
Well,
else.
I mean, I think when someone tells
You're
you
a
that
male
they're
trying to say you're a female, and you're a
person
female
says
trying to say
that
you're a
they're
male.
a
How
woman
hard
or
is
they're
it?
a man, then that's them telling you their gender is. I'm not so sure what social interactions would have to do with maleness or femaleness that would
Well,
be.
I'm not even talking about
What
social context.
sexuality is he
I'm
right here?
just trying to start by getting to the truth. You know,
It's gay, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of like getting to the truth again in social
why
life.
Why is that uncomfortable?
Because that it sounds actually deeply transphobic to me. And if you keep
Wow.
probing, we're gonna stop the interview.
See,
I-
yeah,
I
be
probe about what the truth is.
probing. He trying to
You keep
understand.
invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude. I'm saying to you,
How is the word
Truth is
condescending?
condescending and rude. Now you can make up anything you
why don't you
can.
tell me what your
Anything
truth
you
is,
say
and
that's
you're on
disrespectful, you can just say
30
that.
seconds more of the nights before I get up.
You said hiding it too loud.
But
That
my
is
truth is, well, I don't think I really
condescending.
have the truth. I think that there's just the truth, like the reality. And so we should begin by trying to figure out what the reality is.
Uh-huh. And why are you concerned with when someone else tells you that they're a man, or even if they use the word male, why are you concerned with not believing them?
Because you're not a
I
male.
keep bringing it back to, how do you respond in a social situation?
That's what I do. I'm a social scientist.
Well, right. Well, we're in a
what is
university.
he?
This
He's
is
a-
a place
he's
of
a
understanding
therapist?
truth, isn't it? Or
Absolutely. We
But the
pursue
truth is-
truth, and I'm a
So-
social scientist, and that's what I
Oh,
do.
he
just said
said
the
you're a
truth is
social
transferable.
scientist.
That
He's so
you would say,
offended by him
if
just
you're
asking
saying the
that
truth
question,
is
we
that I
can
get
call
to
him
say,
no
you're
bitch,
not a man,
motherfucker.
show me your genitalia, that's transphobic.
No, I don't want to see it as genitalia. I just mean someone can make a statement about themselves that could be untrue. Like, for example, if I were to say that I'm a black man, would you accept that, or would you be skeptical?
Are you black? Are you African American? Are you biracial?
I don't think so.
Well, you don't look that, and I don't think it doesn't sound like that's a genuine statement of who you are.
Wow.
Okay, so that's my point. I could make a statement about who I am that's incorrect.
Of course, I think it's well established that human beings can lie, yes.
So y'all
Or not even
lying.
lying. I mean, I could just be mistaken.
Yeah.
I guess this all comes down to really one question. Especially women, gender and sexuality studies. So what is a woman?
Why do you ask the question?
Well, you can't answer the question.
I just really like to know.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
He knows what a.
Well, I'm asking. That's why I came to a college professor who this is what you do.
What other kinds of answers have you gotten?
Oh my God. You could be condescending and rude.
A lot of like this,
Or y'all
where
could
you're
be
not
like,
answering.
when he
a lot of
asked,
that.
I think it's interesting that you say that some of the people you've interviewed
asked you,
have been
what is a
reluctant to
woman?
answer it, and I think that has a lot to do with the questions that preceded it, and the way that you've conducted yourself in the interview.
How have I
Why are you so offended by the question?
How do you think you've conducted yourself?
Why are you asking questions with questions?
You just really don't want to answer the questions, do you?
I came today very willing and enthusiastic about answering questions about women's and gender sexuality studies, which is
So you
what I
wanted
do.
to answer questions about women's studies, and so shouldn't the first
What is a woman?
answer you should be able to provide is what exactly is a woman?
Well, for me, it's actually a really simple answer, and that's a person who identifies as a woman.
But what are they identifying as?
As a woman.
So what is that?
As a woman,
What is a
Do you know what
woman?
a circular definition is?
I do.
It's sort of like what you're doing right now, where a woman is a woman.
Because you're seeking what we would call in my field of work an essentialist definition of gender. I think it sounds like you would like me to give you a set of biological or cultural characteristics that are associated with one
What is a
gender or
woman?
the other.
I'm not seeking
An
any type
adult
of definition. I'm just seeking
female.
a definition.
Yeah, I gave you one.
That's what a woman
Well,
is.
now I can say I've been to college.
That's what a woman is. An adult female.
X chromosomes.
They don't have such and such chromosomes. They have a women chromosomes, right? Am I right? The issue that I have with all of this is how the transgender community downplays who they in reality are trying to be. A woman. A real born-to-life woman, not no cis. Some words you create to put people in categories because that's what you are, in a category, in a box, because you're not genuine or real. Don't downplay the real ones that's real women because you want to be them. Then you say, oh, what you gonna say when we have a baby? You'll never be able to have a baby. Never. So respect the lane you trying to go into, because you trying to be the woman, these women that you so desperately disrespecting and knocking down, when in reality you thinking like a fucking man. There's a saying in life, you live and you learn. But let's all learn to live. Knowledge is power. And with the knowledge, it helps you gain wealth, whether monetary or intellectual. I appreciate you tuning in to this episode, and it's going to be a controversial one. But thanks for tuning in. Another man's point of view.